Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It is March 22nd, 2020. It is some sort of gaming podcast. The year is, or actually the week has been, we've been inside like always, how gamers should be. But, the world is going to be inside for a long while, at least for the next few weeks. Wait, was it the next few weeks or the next few months? But
few weeks.
Okay.
I still only got April 7th.
Okay, well, whatever. Anyways, other than, yesterday being like the highest number of Twitch viewership in the history of Twitch, and, there's been news about the consoles coming out the next generation. Wow, I can't believe I stumbled upon my words right there. But let's all start off with what we've been doing this past week, although we kind of already know what we've been kind of doing this past week because we've been playing with together at the same together. But anyways, let's start off with LadyInfamous. What you've been doing this past week?
Oh wow, I'm first this week again. Okay. Let me see. I've been working as much as I can before the store shuts down this week. So in between working, I've been playing a whole bunch of games. I'm trying to remember that game me and Unsheathed played, the beat 'em up. What was the beat 'em up we played, Unsheathed?
Fight and Rage.
Fight and Rage. That was a game that I played with Unsheathed. Also, I had played Kane and Lynch. Oh my God. On remote play, by the way. And the beat 'em up game, it was great. I enjoyed it. It reminded me a lot of Streets of Rage. I didn't know that was Matt's video game from Two Best Friends. I think Zeldrick, you told me that, right?
Yeah, it was Matt McMuscles that produced it.
Okay, so he did a very good job. I'm glad he Two Best Friends is one of the people that I used to watch back in the days a lot, especially in Halloween. They got a good Halloween special. For him to come out with a game like that, I think it's great. Excuse me. Kane and Lynch. It reminds me of A Way Out, like an earlier version of A Way Out, as far as the story is concerned. It is an old game, and it's fun playing with. It was fun playing with Unsheathed. It was difficult at one particular level of the game. I think me and him, we were at that level for about an hour because of fucking Jenny, because she don't want to duck. She wants to get up. She wants to not move from the hole. We can't cover her. We try to shoot this big old truck 1,000,000 times. It felt so good to beat that level. Can't wait to play that again. And I played like a sprinkle of Warzone. I didn't play too much. I didn't want to be burnt out too fast with the game, so I didn't play this much. I played, what's that one, that PC game? A Short Hike. I think it was Uplay free game or something. And
Epic Games.
It was Epic. It's so many of them, I tend to forget where they go. It was a good story.
What does that mean, a good story?
I'm going to tell you the story. I'm going to tell you the story right now. It's about Claire hanging with her aunt on this island. Her phone doesn't have reception. So she told me that to get reception is to go to the top of the mountain on the island. But it's easier said than done. I had to go to a gang of obstacles. Like, you can fly, you have to gather feathers, help people along the way, time your climbing and your gliding. I mean, one of the best parts of the game is after you climb the top and you glide back down to the beach. It's like a good minute of you just gliding around in a circle, seeing all the things that you have to go through to play that game. I mean, to, complete your obstacle, your main objective, which is great. It was pretty. It was on PC. I had trouble at first because I was playing with keyboard and mouse. Then I got the controller and connected it to it, and it was much better after that. I played Civilization 6. I was underestimated how ultra management type of game that is.
You mean how complex it was?
Complex as fuck. I swear. Mind you,
Didn't you say you played because you played Revolution? You should be.
It wasn't the same. It wasn't the same. It wasn't the same. I mean, like, I was like, okay, I played that game before, so I think I could be able to do this. They got like real policies and shit, not this baby policies I had with the other game. It's really complex. I really want to get into it, but I was extremely overwhelmed when I first played it. I expected like a level 6. I got a level 10 and I wasn't ready. The last couple of days, I have a friend of mine bought me Animal Crossing on Nintendo Switch. Cause I told
what?
Yeah, someone bought it for me. I was doing Grown Woman Gaming yesterday.
Surprise, surprise.
You say that so cheekily.
The thing is, this is what happened, right? We was talking about Animal Crossing on Grown Woman Gaming yesterday. And there was like, oh, but you never played it before. I was like, no, I ain't never played it. I'm not going to, but I wasn't going to pay for it either. I was like, yo, I was like, it was like, oh, you can go visit each other's islands. You can do all kinds of stuff. It's like the Sims, but cuter. I was like, are you guys serious with me, man? I was like, the hype can't be real, right? The hype can't be real. So after the show, I would check my DMs. There was a game code for Animal Crossing. So I played it yesterday. You name your island, right? And you name your character. So I named my character Mimi, and I named my island Wet Wet. So, so there's a Wet Wet airport, and I'm gonna have the Wet Wet shop in a minute, and the Wet Wet museum is building up and everything. I ain't even gonna lie to you, homie. I have a lot on my mind these past couple of days. So with Animal Crossing, that game just took me away for like a few hours. Like it was like relaxing. So I got my house already. I'm about to pay. I mean, I did not know that the little raccoon, his name is Tom. He's a shyster. Like, he's stocking loans on top of loans on me for the house. Oh yeah. You have this tent all set up and everything, but you owe me some money. So I paid him back. He was like, yeah, thank you for paying me back. But you know what? You can get a house if you want to with this small loan of like 98,000 credits. And I'm like, what? So I said, I'll take the loan. So you have to like pay off your loans, collect animals, catch butterflies, fish.
Now you know why everybody since the GameCube hates Tom Nook.
He got 2 kids called Timmy. Timmy is, I don't know, maybe Tom Jr. or something. But all they do is like, oh, we'll help you with missions, but we're not gonna pay you. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I need you to help me build a shop, but I'm not gonna pay you. Or I need you to help me with this museum, but I'm not paying you. So I have to find money in the world. So that means collecting seashells, collecting butterflies, going to other people's islands, selling fruit.
That sounds like real life.
I was just saying, it sounds like you found a job to keep you occupied.
So, yeah, that's all I did. What did you do, Zeldrick?
I played Sekiro.
How you like
I
it?
played so this week with Sekiro, I got really pissed at 2 parts, and actually one of it was last night because I thought it was close to the end, and it turns out I've got like an entire level to go through, and like I say that I put it like that when it's like, oh, it's just one level. It's like, no, that place takes fucking forever. But I'm at the point with this game where I'm just like, I just want it to be done. It's not that like, oh, it's like difficult for me. I've had like one part be difficult for me, or like one enemy. However, like I'm just kind of, it's more not like that. I find that the game is bad. It's more like I want to get onto other games now and I want to see this to the end. And it's just like, I thought I was just close to the end and I just want it to be over. It's one of those, like, it seems like it's drawing out. However, I'm finding it enjoyable when I face against a boss where I can learn from these enemies and I start to learn the basic rhythm of how the fight goes and then make my way around it. What's funny is that there's one boss that you fight twice called the Corrupted Monk. And I had someone in my chat tell me the first time I fight this Corrupted Monk, he was like, yeah, I fucking hated this boss. And I go to fight it and I was like, I'm finding this actually enjoyable because the swings are slow enough where like I'm trying to get the rhythm of perfect deflex down. And then the second time around, it was almost the same fight, except that it was like, there was a couple of phases that were different. And then from that, I just did the same thing of just learning the moves and that sort of thing. So to find different people's experiences with this game is, it's enlightening. Kind of like when you talk to other people about any sort of Souls game and, they're like, yeah, I like this part, but I didn't like this part, but other people will like a different part and not like the part that you liked and stuff like this. So like everybody has their own different experience and feel about it. That being said, it's also a very pretty game. The farther you get into it, it gets really, really more atmospheric. So I know a lot of the attacks and moves are really fun and they're really cool. So, though I think actually I am like, it was made from Software and they make all the Dark Souls and the Bloodborne and stuff like that. And it only has like a minute piece of a Souls game. The rest of it is like a completely different game. So, while yes, I use the term of a Souls game, it's not a Souls game. And as everybody else has pointed out, that like this was meant to be a Tenchu game. And I kind of wish that Activision wasn't like, hey, we'll hire you, but you need to do what you've been praised for the past 8 years or some shit like that. So I think it would have been better if they just totally diverged from their Souls stuff and then made it a real Tenchu game. I think that would have been a better game. So moving on from that, Fridays are my D&D week or my D&D day of the week. Friday, a whole week.
Cram a whole week into a single day, man.
Fucking, it feels like it sometimes. And I don't know if I mentioned it before, but I guess I'll just talk about it again if I had. But I'm playing as a Dragonborn monk, and this is a group of players that most of them, anyways, have not played D&D before, and except for one of them, myself included. But I haven't played in about 7 or 8 years. And the story is progressing, though. We hit a point where it's just it's kind of really drawing out because there's a lot of talking and role play involved. The more, because I've never thought about playing as a monk. I was wanted to play as a barbarian for just once, and this time I didn't really get to. But a monk is so badass, and then you get to your subclasses when you reach level 3. A monk is the very typical from the Far East martial arts and that sort of thing. But the drop down for all the other subclasses, Like Way of the Kensei is like multiple weapons that you can use. Way of the Drunken Fist, which actually, T, you might be able to help me with this. Way of the Drunken Fist sounds really cool because after you do a attack move, you can spend 1 key point to do an Akuma backslide. You know, that like the
kind of like that teleport type.
Yeah, where he just like lifts 1 foot and then just slides backwards.
Gotcha.
Way of the Drunken Fist does exactly that. For like the first, as soon as you get it. But I'm going to be going with Way of the Shadow, which is essentially a ninja. But most of the reason for that is because of the spells you get and the tool set you get to help more role play and diversify how you approach things and stuff.
I forgot, was Monk a dual stat class? I forgot. It was like dexterity and like wisdom or something like that, right?
Yep, you're correct. So like Monk, you can with martial arts, you can replace strength modifiers with dexterity, and then most of your stuff is dealt with dexterity and wisdom. So when you reach level 2, you gain key points. You get 2, and you can spend it on Flurry of Blows, which is I'll see if I can do this briefly. As like a monk, if you make an attack, you can make a bonus action attack to do an unarmed strike, which is really, really strong. And then with at level 2, and you use Flurry of Blows, you attack, you make a bonus action, and then if you spend your key point for Flurry of Blows, you make another unarmed strike. So you're just wailing on this guy like immediately, or something with the wind or whatever like that, and you can spend that to do a dash or to disengage, and your jump is doubled, I believe. And then the other one is where you stand in defensive stance, and anybody that attacks you while you're in that defensive stance that entire turn, they have a disadvantage on your attack. So like just in martial or just in battles, Monk is like really, really strong, like right out of the gate. And it's so cool because I was like punching this wild dog in the middle of a goblin camp and just wailing on his face. And it was so cool. And because I'm Dragonborn, I dealt with 2 others by spitting acid in them and they both died. So I'm just like a monster in this immediately. So it was a lot of fun. And because I also like want to do some sort of like voice acting and stuff, like, or I like to do it. I'm giving like a sort of voice for this Dragonborn, and the hopes that also the other players are going to chime in as well. But so far, not really. And I'm actually starting to stream that on Fridays. So if you want to check me out, Fridays at 5 p.m. Pacific, I'll be streaming my D&D stuff. And after this campaign, I'll be hosting or DMing the same exact campaign for a completely different group of people. I don't know who yet, but I'll know when I get there. I don't think I played anything else except a little bit of Monster Hunter, a little bit of Final Fantasy XIV, and a little bit of South Park: The Fractured But Whole. I'm on the DLC content for The Fractured But Whole, and it's just like a little bit here and there, and that's about it. So what about you, Unsheathed Productions? What have you been up to?
I took the week off of gaming, so I didn't really play much. So Sharpie, what you been up to?
That's such a lie.
No, I've played a lot of stuff. There are like actually a ton of games this week. So like I said, LadyInfamous mentioned Fight and Rage. Well, let me start off by saying that one of the things that I've been doing recently, kind of been a trend of mine, has been to do a lot of games centered around remote play on Steam. So actually a lot of the stuff that I've done has been kind of multiplayer or co-op or whatever you want to call it, with either a group of you guys or some other people that were in my Twitch stream. So like I was saying, LadyInfamous mentioned we played Fight and Rage, which is like side-scrolling beat 'em up. Really cool art style, a lot of crazy like contrasty colors and things of that nature. I didn't have like the reference to the guys you guys are talking about. I guess you were saying you watched like their content. I'm already forgetting the guy's name, but
Matt McMuscles. I only overheard it from a long time ago, a tweet or a video or something.
You mean their involvement in this game, or his involvement in this game, or you mean like you heard of his or their content before? Because I never heard of their content before you guys mentioned it while we were playing. Yeah,
well, he was a part of Best Friends Play, and when the three of them were doing a podcast together, I remember him saying that he was a part of the development of Fight and Rage.
Gotcha.
And that's it. That's all.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. So like that game we started out, it was just myself and LadyInfamous, and then at some point in the game, Zeldrick came in and we started over, and I kind of regret letting him come in because he just like manhandled everyone in the game with that freaking Minotaur thing. He's just like beating the crap out of everybody. We couldn't keep up with him in points.
Ricardo was a beast.
Yeah. So yeah, did that. Played Cube Escape Paradox, which is I guess it's part of like the Rusty Lake series, which is essentially this kind of weird, dark kind of puzzle series. So I could not describe to you what the hell is happening in that story. I'd never know in any of these stories, but essentially, actually, I could tell it a little bit. Now that I think about it, I could describe it a little bit only because the cool thing for this one is that there was a movie that came along with it that we actually watched on stream as well after I finished playing the game. But long story short, there's a guy that wakes up in this room, and there's this just kind of like series of puzzles that he has to figure out in order to escape the room. And once he gets outside, he sees like this person with a crow for a head, which that person, I guess it's probably more so a mask is supposed to be, but that person has been in like every game that I've played from this series, and I still don't know who they are, but they kind of meet that person. They go to a lake and see like this woman, this mysterious woman who I don't know if I ever figured out who she was, but I guess his kind of like the darkness into his soul is like in the lake with this woman and murders her, and he goes and tries to like rescue her and finds this cube and looks in the cube, and all of a sudden like he's back in the room. So it might be kind of like a Groundhog Day kind of scenario where the idea is the guy is like trying to maybe overcome some kind of either trauma or like mental health issues or something like that. I'm not sure really, but I just like puzzle games. So, and I kind of like the dark theme games, which is why I played all these games in the series. And it was cool. That took a long time to beat though. It was like 3 streams because the last puzzle was like super confusing. But that was a fun little like $2.99 experience. I played Baba Is You, which is something that JSharpie recommended. Another puzzle game. The idea is you're like this little, I guess the character's name is Baba. I'm assuming based on that it's supposed to be a sheep. It kind of looks like a sheep. I don't know. But it's actually an interesting game in the sense that like the idea is you have to like use your character to move words around to reform. You have words that are all in sentences when you start the puzzle, and you have to reform the sentences. They're little short 3-word sentences like Baba is you, rock is stop, or rock is push or something like that. Wall is stop. And you have to push the words around to reformat the sentences in order to be able to get the solution to the puzzle. So like in a lot of them, for example, there's like flag is win and, wall is stop. You might have to move stop from wall is stop. And then like all of a sudden you can walk through the wall and, go to the flag. And it's just kind of like stuff like that where you're reformatting all these sentences to kind of make it make sense so that I guess Sharpie described it pretty well in saying that it's kind of like programming light in a way. But yeah, idea being you have to figure out how to get typically get Baba to the flag, but sometimes it's just figure out whatever the win scenario is.
So I think a different way to put it is like you're rearranging the rules of the level so that you can win.
Yeah. But but the rules are like literally written out in like little 3-word sentences. But yeah, exactly. Played some Ultimate Chicken Horse with Sharpie and LadyInfamous. if I remember correctly, Lady Infamous might not have got any points.
I didn't get any points. It's okay though. It's fine. I'm not playing that game no more. It's just a waste of time. It's really a waste of time for me.
I'll play with you guys.
AKA, she's a hater.
However, there was one level where Lady Infamous did get a bunch of underdog points at one
that's
time,
right.
and just jumped up.
That's right. You did get one.
Closing the gap.
Yeah, and then lost.
Yeah. I see how some of you guys really want to magnify my fuck ups in gaming. Not my positives. Not my positives.
Nah, you do that for yourself. You be posting your positives. We got posted negatives.
Gotta be real.
You posting up all my fuck ups, man.
But yeah, that was fun.
It was fun though.
Yeah, we tried Samurai Gun, but that didn't end up working. Actually, that was the first remote play game that I couldn't get to work out of like everything I've tried thus far. I don't remember why. For some reason, we couldn't change the control scheme of like the Sharpie and Lady Infamous's characters. So I guess you weren't able to get in, right? I think it was just me that was able to get in.
No, I wasn't.
Or no. Wait, that's the one. I think weren't you guys on like somebody
You
was
couldn't
on
use our controllers.
the number pads and like y'all are basically sharing a keyboard.
Yeah, basically it was just one keyboard and we all had to like share it as if it was a single keyboard.
Yeah, it got super weird. That's so weird. But yeah, we tried. But that actually led us to probably, I would say, the most fun remote play experience that I'd say we had when that was Towerfall Ascension, where again it started out with myself, Sharpie, and Lady Infamous, and then later on Zeldrick came in,
and then Lady Infamous left.
And then Lady Infamous like left and broke her computer. And
no, you were raging.
No, I had to go to work. Unlike other people that had to stay home and had no problem getting up in the morning, I still was working, so I had to get up in the morning. That's why I stopped playing.
No, we joking with you. But that one was super fun. Yeah, you just gotta fuck them up in the game. That's all you gotta do.
No, I'm fucking them up in real life when I see them. It's okay.
I will pay to see that.
You got money like that? You got money to pay me? Okay.
Fucking $50.
Oh no, I ain't gonna do it like that.
All right.
Yeah, at least 100. But yeah, that was fun. I think that might have been the only time we all got to be in a game. But it was cool having everybody in that one. It's just, fast paced, like multiplayer, like adversarial. What would you call it? I don't know what you would call that. What would you call Smash Brothers?
Well,
I feel like it's kind of the same category in a way.
Specifically,
yeah.
Well, specifically with a Towerfall Ascension, it was like it's an arena.
There you go. That's what I was looking for.
It's a multiplayer online battle arena.
Yeah, there you go.
It's a arcade arena game.
Yeah, there you go. The arena was the word I was looking for, but I guess Smash Brothers wouldn't really go into that. Maybe, I don't know. Anyways, but that was super fun. Then Sharpie and I, there was like a couple of broadcasts that were centered around like the Xbox and the PlayStation. I'm sure we'll talk about that later, but Sharpie and I played River City Girls, which we actually beat that entire game over 2 streams?
Yeah.
It was just 2 or 3? 2. Yeah. But again, another side scrolling beat 'em up. I guess it's supposed to be, maybe it is the sequel to River City. I guess River City Ransom, or there probably was another one after that. I feel like there's a River City Rampage or something like that. I don't know. But basically 2 kind of anime style girls who are trying to save their boyfriends who have vanished. And they're like going through the town, just beating people up, trying to figure out what happened to the boyfriends. Apparently they don't even know the story of what happened to them. And they just went out and started fighting people. But that one's actually really cool in the sense that they did a good job of like creating a combo system where you actually had like some good options in terms of like not feeling like you were just button mashing the entire time. Which in a lot of beat 'em ups, you kind of can get to that point. And actually Fight and Rage kind of did the same thing, where they have like launchers, you could do air combos, like each character has like different moves and stuff like that. So it actually feels like, for example, when we beat the game, there was like 2 more characters that had completely different fighting styles too. So you feel like if you were going to play multiple playthroughs, it's not going to be literally exactly the same thing. But yeah, it was a really cool story. I like the style of it in terms of like, it kind of felt very Scott Pilgrim-esque. Less so like, I guess in the same way as the game, but also in the movie in terms of like how they introduced characters. They had like little flashbacks that were kind of, I guess they were kind of like comic strips, right? They were showing cells of like comics. Mm-hmm. Like when the girls were, Sharpie, you can help me out if I'm saying this wrong, but like when the girls talked about when they met somebody in the past or something like that, right?
Oh yeah,
they have like the little kind of like
saying, we were making fun of it. We're like saying there was a when they say like a certain word, they'll be like, saying, like,
it's about to be a flashback.
Yeah, there's gonna be a flashback. Like, imagine like we're gonna use like coffee for example. We're gonna be like saying coffee. There was a time when we brewed coffee and something like that. We were like joking about how ridiculous that sounds.
And they actually did that in the game too. I think it was on the first boss where like he started talking. She's like, "Oh God, here comes a flashback." And she's like, "You just hurry it up." He just kept on going. But it was a cool game. The story was like really fun and not too like it was very lighthearted and fun, I guess we'll call it. Then jumped in and played Fight of Animals because there was a new character released. I just happened to see it on Steam and saw the picture of what it was. It was like, I have to play this. This looks so stupid. But they released it. Did you guys see the character? I know LadyInfamous did, but Egg Dog?
Yeah.
It's basically a dog that looks like an egg.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Then I guess there's like, I found a picture on the internet that it might have been like, maybe that's where they got the whole concept of Egg Dog from, because it looks almost exactly like the character that they created. But just wanted to go through that, and I'm not gonna say too much about that. It didn't change the game much other than to say like he was a ridiculous character, very kind of pressure heavy in the sense that like his moveset it's kind of built for you to just keep on attacking because he's kind of like a little nuisance. But played him and played like Magic Squirrel too. I just wanted to try another character, which is kind of like the Ken and Ryu of the game, like literally has fireballs and like he seems like he's kind of like that baseline good character that you can always go back to versus everybody else who kind of has like their own unique attributes to him. Played Elementals. Okay, before I say that real quick, and this will be the last like kind of little section of games I played. There was, I guess, over the weekend because of all the cancellations, because of things happening out in the world, like the fact that GDC got canceled. They had on Steam just for this past weekend that you were able to play like a bunch of demos, I guess, that were going to be at GDC, some that were from mix events, some that were from Day of the Devs, like a whole bunch of things that actually I had seen at events last year, but actually just seen them because, there's always like lines for the games and I usually don't like to wait in line. So when I saw it, I was like, let me go through and play a bunch of them just so I could actually get a feel for them, because I guess they had a lot of games available and there's a lot of stuff that I really had wanted to try and didn't necessarily see myself buying already, but at least had some interest in. So one of them was Coffee Talk, which JSharpie had been trying to convince LadyInfamous as a barista to play.
I'm not
and I think... No. Now that I played it, I'm like, it would have totally worked too, because of how actually ridiculous it makes the job of being a barista look. Because I swear, I was like, he's like, I want a triple shot latte, and it was like, all right, put 3 scoops of coffee in a cup and like boil it, and I'm like, all right, that's all you gotta do.
I had to send Unsheath a video of a real barista making those latte arts. Does it look easy?
And we were like, it looks, that's actually fake. The real way is from the video game.
Yeah, right.
You saw it. I made Venom. They can't make Venom. But yeah, I think that was the whole point that Sharpie was making, in the sense that it would have been really funny to see like a person who knows how to do it in real life play this game that clearly oversimplified how to do all this stuff. Like I was making like just ridiculous drinks, and it's like, oh, I want something, what do you say? I want something bitter. And I think I put like green tea and
hella
milk together with a bunch of milk. And he's like, "Ooh, this is a green tea latte." And I'm like, "That's all I had to do, huh?" So yeah, I feel like you definitely should have played that, or you should play the whole game since like you've only seen part of it. So real quick, I played Filament, which was a kind of puzzle game where you have to like guide a robot around these sort of pillars, which all have ways to make them light up. And you have to basically figure out a way to light up the pillars you need to. And the door to get out opens when you do that. So you have to light them up and get out the door. That game was really interesting to me as being a puzzle guy. So I'm going to play that in the future. Coffee Talk, I'm going to play at some point. I think the most noteworthy ones, I played Jay and Silent Bob Mall Brawl, and that's the exact opposite of what I was saying about River City Girls, where like literally it's like you pick whatever character, either Jay or Silent Bob, you're doing the exact same thing, and the moveset is literally just like keep jamming on a button. So that was like taking it back to like old school beat 'em ups, like original Double Dragon type thing.
The monotonousness.
Yeah, where it starts feeling kind of boring after a second. Like, yeah, we were totally enthused as kids, but that's only because we hadn't played anything, any of the stuff we played between then and now, where it's like, okay, now this makes the game like 100 times better. So where you start thinking like, yeah, the original was kind of trash. That game kind of was still in that original was kind of trash.
Now games.
Exactly. The 1980s standard for now. I played Carrion. I think actually that's the last one. I'll say I played Spiritfarer, which I think we'll talk about it at some point because I'll actually play the full game. But that was a really cool demo. Kung Fu Kickball, just kind of like a Flash game. Liberated, which was supposed to be basically their goal was to say play. They wanted it to feel like you were playing a comic book, which it kind of didn't. It kind of just felt like you were playing a game where they created a border around the level so it looked like you were in the cell of a comic book, but it didn't feel like you were playing a comic book, really. It's kind of, I don't know, it kind of felt flat a little bit. But the one I want to bring up was Carrion. Because I know, Zeldrick, you were interested in that before, right?
Yeah.
Did you get a chance to play it?
I did not. No.
That game is super creepy. Just in the sense of like, the thing that really threw me off is the movement of the creature in the game. So the point of the game is that you're, instead of being like a person who has to survive an attack from like this monster, you're actually the monster and you have to attack all the people in this like science lab. And it's kind of like this sort of, it almost looks like a brain in a way, but with like tentacles coming out everywhere that like stick on all the surfaces. You could pull yourself up on the ceilings and on the walls, and like you can use it to reach out, grab people so you can eat them because that's how you get more energy. But like they just really nailed the movement of it. It's like super fluid to the point where it's almost creepy. Like in the sense that like, how if you put what is it? Like when you imagine a snail, right? Or something slimy that you put on a wall, like it'll like slide down slowly.
Yeah.
Like imagine if it was just like fast. It was that, and it's just like sliding all over the place and like going between like, the ceiling and the walls and stuff like that. I don't know, it creeped me out. Although I really enjoyed the game to the point where I'm like, I'm going to play this, and like allowed myself to be weirded out, but it was still super creepy. So yeah, there was that. And then the last thing was Elementals, which was another kind of arena combat game that I played with, who was it? My friends, Yimmy T, Sage Nosity, and the Kid Trials, again with remote play. And that's another one I'm definitely playing when it comes out. Did you play that too, Zeldrick? Did you come in at some point? You didn't, right?
You played what?
Elementals?
No, I've never heard of this.
Okay, all right. So that's one we definitely got to play. I still have that on my computer because I'm like, that's one that you definitely would want to play, I think. Just because it has kind of like that metal vibe, and like literally to get your energy back, you have to like headbang. Like you have to like headbang with your hands up in the air, like doing sort of the devil sign or whatever. And it's kind of like bloody, gory, like arena combat kind of thing, but super fun. But yeah, like I said, a lot of stuff that I got to play. Took very much advantage of that like weekend of demos. And then, last thing, Kane and Lynch Dog Days, like LadyInfamous said, which we'll play again, and I think it'd probably be more worthwhile to talk about once we finish it. So, that was about it. Long week, lots of games, but in a good way. What about you, Sharpie?
Other than River City Girls, I didn't really play much, or I guess Towerfall too. I didn't really play much. Instead, I was editing like the River City Girl gameplay and like all my Ori gameplay. I was like trying to segment them out, like and getting rid of all like the BRB screens and stuff like that. So that's what I was spending most of my time, because I started to realize, okay, well, instead of just saying like, oh, I completed it, I should have like proof that I actually completed the game. So instead, I'm just going to use like one of my channels as just like, oh, here's my archive of all my gameplay, because, you know, Twitch doesn't keep those unless you actually highlight them. So like, it's like saying, well, okay, well, I'm going to keep one in Twitch and YouTube. So if either of these sites goes down, at least I have like, you know, my archives. So that's what I ended up doing. What my week's been like I went to go grocery shopping, and then, you know, people there, like it wasn't like, you know, crazy or anything. Everybody was pretty pleasant, but then I swear to God, it was just one incident away from being like 28 days later. That's what it felt like. That? I don't know. It's just the atmosphere. It just felt like, you know, like something from 28 days later would happen.
Where'd you go?
I just went to like a local grocery store, and it was just like, you know, like it was like a farmer's market.
And farmer's market is not a local grocery store.
Yeah. Well, anyways, so that's what. Well, it is a grocery store like on my street, but then they also call it a farmer's market because it's like a daily. It's their own store, right? So yeah, I was just like, oh my God, like it feels kind of weird because everybody's just staring at each other, but everybody was just kind of like, you know, acting nice to each other, or maybe they were. It's just that they were also being alert at the same time. So that was kind of weird.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't feel like I got that vibe from. That's why the reason I was asking where'd you go is because I don't feel like I got that vibe as much as I just got the vibe of like everybody's just like, yeah, I'm ready to not be in this place anymore. Almost like everybody thinks that the person next to them is patient zero or something.
Yeah,
it's funny because like where you're at in your experience is completely different from my experience, and it's the exact opposite, where like everybody just keeps going about their day. They're not, except for like,
oh yeah, they're chilling in Berkeley.
Yeah, exactly.
You go outside and there's like people running around, walking their dogs, like having barbecues and stuff like that. It's
playing
just
basketball.
Like, yeah, they're chilling.
And I actually took a walk today at the park, and I've taken a walk at that same park 2 different times this week, and it was deserted. And now today, like every single person was there. And it's like, wow, we're practicing social distancing, right? Jesus Christ.
I wonder if people are just like, as time goes on and nothing happens to them directly, they're just kind of like, they're just starting to get a little bit more lax about it.
I guess so. But I don't know about that.
Yeah, I'm even practicing social distancing at home. If somebody's in the kitchen, I'm not going in there. You know, like, yeah, but then like, what do you call it? Like I went running or jogging, right? And, you know, I take my usual path. It's like usually like I usually meet up with like 6 people, or I don't talk to them, but, you know, I usually run into like 6 to 8 people. And then the next thing I know, like this week, it was just like 10 to 12 people in the morning, and they're all elders.
Yeah, so I see a lot of people outside that are old.
Yeah, so they want to like get their exercise out when nobody's there. You know, it's like, and usually nobody's there in the morning.
Okay.
Yeah, at least the path that I take, yeah, nobody really runs during the morning, because sometimes I take runs like in the afternoon, and there's much more people there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that that was pretty much my week. I wasn't really doing much. Oh, actually, yesterday we had a virtual meetup for Bay Area Live, and we played Jackbox games, and there were about a little over a dozen people that showed up. It was surprisingly more successful than we thought it was going to be.
Nice.
You guys missed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know I was
missed
off
it.
for this weekend.
I missed it because I thought it was the end of Sekiro, and I ended up staying up until like 3 or 4 in the morning playing that game. I was like, fuck.
It's only 5 minutes left. I'm almost there. And it just keeps going.
Yeah. For the next one, I'll be there.
How did it work for the, did you guys do the movie night?
No,
it was just the game night. Okay.
yeah, it was just a game night. We went till like 10, so it was like a 3-hour game night.
Yeah, because I was curious, like, had anybody tried like the new Netflix functionality for like movie watching with a group? Netflix, like, was it Watch Party or something like Netflix Party?
Yeah, Netflix Party.
Yeah, because I thought you guys were gonna like use that. I was curious to see how it worked.
Wait, it's a Netflix thing or is it a Discord thing?
Netflix thing.
Netflix has Netflix Party now, where everybody can like, it'll basically sync up the movie with like everybody that's watching it together, so they can watch it together. But yeah, I thought maybe that's what you guys are gonna do.
Nah, we didn't do that.
Okay.
I think we might have one. They were planning to have one tonight too, but I don't know if that's still happening.
Gotcha. Okay.
Anyways, yeah, that's it for this week. When it comes to our weeks, wow, we spent 45 minutes on it too.
A lot of games.
Unsheathed Productions played a lot of games, and it was actually worth talking about. So, but I think is there anything like besides talking about the console breakdowns that you guys want to bring up?
Animal Crossing Doom came out this weekend.
Those blew the fuck up this week.
You seen the cross promotion between Animal Crossing and Doom?
I didn't see the music video.
The music video, and
I saw that one. Yeah,
and the soldier, I guess, teaches the little Animal Crossing character the shotgun. So she bucks the shotgun and she flies. And we'll be right back.
Yeah.
I didn't see any of this. Interesting.
Yeah, like people have been making jokes and comics and memes about this for like
TikTok.
The past.
Hit the switch. Oh, that was good too.
Fucking for the past year.
Wait, why? Is it because they were coming out at the same time, essentially?
Yeah.
Exact same day.
Oh, okay.
And
I thought Doom was like Friday. No?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
No, they were pretty much the exact same day. I thought it was the exact same day.
It was the same day.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like there were like these comics of like Isabel from Animal Crossing going to the GameStop. Yeah, she goes to the GameStop and she's like, 1 copy of Doom, please. And the shopkeeper just looks at her like, what? And then a bunch of like, Isabel sitting on the shoulder of Doom guy, and stuff like that. It's great.
Nice.
I love the internet community with some of these things, but
it's a completely different theme. One's super bloody and gory, and the other one's just about getting out of debt.
Yeah. Or you can combine the two and just getting bloody and gory for the sake of getting out of debt.
I need that.
Yeah, I need that too. But I've been avoiding Doom since it came out, and I've been watching Animal Crossing. Even though that I want to get a Switch and Animal Crossing, it's been so nice just to be watching Animal Crossing and just chill out and just work on a game or just my taxes or anything like that, and just chilling out with Animal Crossing. It's been really fun. Also, like, it's been a different way of like connecting with people as well. Because since it is such a like more of a community based game, and like people are telling people like, hey, this is how this works, or what about this, or going to other people's islands and stuff like that. It's been nice to like connect and talk to other people over Animal Crossing. But So you are liking Animal Crossing, right, Lady Infamous?
Hell yeah.
Okay. I was hoping you would. But have you guys seen anything with Doom?
I'm holding it down. I'm waiting until it goes on sale, but I'm definitely getting it. I already know what I'm already know what I'm dealing with. Second time around, as far as the enemies are concerned, I have a strategy in my brain about how to deal with these enemies. I should be fine. I'll wait.
Yeah, but you know they gotta switch it up.
Strategy with Doom?
Yes.
It's not just shoot.
I don't know, man. I think for me, like Doom is just run around and shoot people. It's not like no strategy.
Did you play Doom?
I played the original Doom. I played Doom 2. I played Doom 3. I played Doom 64 and the 2016 Doom. And,
okay. So you don't feel like you need a strategy on the 2016?
No, compared to most other shooters, it's just run and shoot.
To you, it's a lot of like ammo management.
No
pathways.
No.
To me, it is. To me, it is.
I will say that with Doom 2016, it's a lot of like, I mean, kind of like Call of Duty multiplayer. Like, make sure your shots count, and then just dodge and finger reaction to everything. Like, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, there was not a whole lot of strategy in that game. It was just like, oh, that's tight. Oh, that's tight. Oh, damn, we just destroyed him. That's all it was for me.
Yeah, so like Doom Eternal came out, Animal Crossing came out. Also, what came out this week was the Resident Evil 3 demo. Did you guys try that?
I was trying to download it, but I couldn't find it on my PlayStation store.
Gotcha. I think it's maybe like 30 minutes of a demo or an hour. It's not timed. But like it's probably at most like an hour if you really want to spend time on it. Just so you can get the feel of it. And I watched a little bit of it, and now that I'm like reading a little bit more, like I already know that there's a dodge mechanic when it comes to Resident Evil 3. And now that I've read more about like people being like, yeah, I'm so glad that I played the demo because like I can get my dodge reaction timings down and stuff like that. I was like, maybe I should download it, even though I'm really excited for it. I don't want to be like, setting my feet into it and everything. I probably should. So I might play that. I'll play that off stream, but I'm super excited for Resident Evil 3.
Do you feel like you need a demo for it though? So is it not just like a slice of the game that you'll probably already be playing?
I don't know. Like, more of the matter is that like, because a lot of people already know about or know how the dodge mechanic works in Resident Evil 3 from like the original, I'm sure it doesn't translate 1-to-1. But the fact that it's there, like they're at least familiar about it. And while I've seen it and I'm only familiar by looking at it, I don't actually know how it works as far as for like the feel of how to dodge and timing and stuff like that. I feel like that immediately the shit's going to hit the fan and I'm going to need to know how to dodge. So there's very big specifics about like the dodge mechanic on it, especially when you're going up against Nemesis.
Yeah, gotcha.
But yeah, there was like no other news you guys wanted to talk about.
Oh, so real quick, Lady Infamous is mainly for you. I didn't hear you mention playing the Golden Gun mode on Rainbow Six Siege.
I didn't play it yet.
You didn't try it? It's only, I think it's done tomorrow.
I didn't play it.
Oh
man.
So it's basically based on
GoldenEye?
I guess it's adapted from like that mode from GoldenEye. So I guess you probably know what the map is. It's Oregon. Do you know what map that is?
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that's the only level that map that you play it on, but it's essentially the same where like you have the golden gun, it's one shot, one kill. But the gun can only can only hold one bullet. So yeah, every time you shoot it, you have to reload. So, but you can still apparently use all of your abilities from your characters, which I don't know how that works. For example, with is it Tachanka? What's his name?
The Lord Tachanka.
The dude that has the
shield,
the setup turret.
The turret, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm curious how that would work in terms of his ability, considering like that gives him a lot more shots than everybody else.
You will have to play and find out, Chief.
I'm not playing it.
Oh,
I'm good. I don't think I even own it except on Xbox. So I'd have to like get it up, set up, install it.
Yeah, it's
all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I wish you would have told me earlier. I probably would have played a couple of games. But
it's only like I guess it was
it was just a weekend.
Today, the 22nd.
Yeah, really.
It was it's Thursday through tomorrow.
Oh man,
last Thursday through tomorrow. I'm sure it's something that'll come back around or whatever. You can always play it tomorrow. You said you don't have to go to the office tomorrow, right? Mm-mm. You don't have to go to the shop.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, try it tomorrow. Still got a day.
Okay, I'll try it tomorrow.
I'm gonna be watching. I'm gonna call you out if you don't play it.
Who said I was gonna stream it?
Oh, I'm still gonna call you out if you don't play it.
If I got one more day, I'll play tomorrow. And anyway, I ain't got shit to do now. Shit. Yeah, I don't have nothing to do now. So if it's one more day, I'll definitely hit that up. I'm interested in seeing what's going on with that. What?
Did you guys want to talk about the PlayStation 5 and
the Xbox
events? Yeah.
I'd like to, but I want to mention a couple of things real quick.
Cool.
One of the things being the like it was mentioned previously, GDC. But like they're doing a GDC summer, and it'll take place in San Francisco, August 4th to 6th.
We'll see.
Yeah, exactly.
I
like,
know.
we'll see.
Mean, what the fuck? Nah, I just...
Eva was actually still saying, yeah, we'll be going on too. And I'm like, yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. So like it's to be just keep up to date with GDC and with Evo. So but that's the thing. They postponed it and now it's GDC summer, August 4th to 6th. Then Sega dropped a teaser for something, and it's a silhouette of a guy in a karate gi. I'm butchering that, but it's essentially a karate gi.
That one, and everybody thinks it's. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Actually, you know what? I just read it as karate gi. I said karate gi, and that's how it's spelled out. Fucking
yeah.
God damn it. Anyways, it reads 6 days until birth, with the 6th heavily stylized, and it's an announcement for March 25th. People are thinking that it's or it should be another Virtua Fighter.
Virtua Fighter, yeah.
So Sega's 60th anniversary tease.
I'm very curious at what does a current gen Virtua Fighter look like, other than because obviously Virtua Fighter. Are you sure
it's not
before,
like Sega Sanshiro?
Sega what?
What?
He's like this guy. He was like this what do you call it? Character that Sega made for advertising, and it was like this guy wearing like a karate gi, and then it's like they named him Segata, right? Sanshiro, which is like just play Sega Saturn, like the name is like an onomatopoeia.
Dude, I forgot about this, dude.
Yeah, it's just him play Sega Saturn. That's like literally that's what his name kind of says.
At the end of this article, it says perhaps a Sega Saturn Mini, a console of which Segata was specifically linked in marketing. So, but I will, right.
Yeah, but I will say though, that could be him. But in terms of what this character looks like, that guy is way younger than, I guess Segata. He did.
I know,
it doesn't look like the original.
They could use another person.
Yeah, I know. But I mean, that's not a real person, obviously. But I'm just saying, that would be an interesting move, because I'd be like, do they really expect people to be super excited about that? Using that as a teaser, as compared to what might be, for example, a Virtua Fighter 6. Because the other thing is, where did you say they saw the 6 at?
The 6 is on the teaser picture. So the 6 is heavily stylized and kind of like a octopus ink and brushstroke. And it says 6 days until birth.
Okay.
So there was just speculation of it could be one thing. Like people were thinking we want a virtual fighter, and then the other side being like maybe a Sega Saturn Mini. So we'll know in the middle of the week.
Sega Saturn Mini actually would be really cool because they even though Sega Saturn they came in at a horrible time where it was at least they had their console was way too easy to basically hack it and create.
Really? I thought it was the Dreamcast that was that.
Oh no, sorry, you're right. It's the Dreamcast. It wasn't the Saturn. Wait, so Sega Saturn would that be what would you play on Sega Saturn? There's Virtua Fighter. Was that where Panzer Dragoon was?
Yeah, and I think it was what do you call it? Nights into Dreams? Was that?
Yeah,
on Saturn?
Nights was definitely on. I think Nights started on Saturn. Yeah,
so
that'll be interesting. But I don't have a ton of memories
Honestly,
of the top games on Sega Saturn.
I don't know anything much about it.
I didn't own a Saturn either, and I feel like that the Sega Saturn is a little bit lost in time. And it's been overshrouded by everything around it, including its own other consoles. So I feel like that maybe a Sega Saturn Mini could be good and bringing a collection or a collection of games back to the forefront and just give more promotion for what was then. I don't know. I heard only a little bit of the Sega Saturn and that was it. Nothing if it was good or bad.
Wait, wasn't Sega Saturn they started the whole Marvel versus
Marvel
Fighter?
Superheroes versus Street Fighter? Yeah, that was the first one. I'm pretty sure that was the first one.
That is probably a huge thing that they could do.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
think they'll be
the
able
forerunner
to do it.
of the first Marvel versus Capcom. Yeah, that's what came out before here.
So we'll see.
I think
March
Capcom
25th.
really tried to back Sega on this.
Really?
If I remember correctly. Yeah, because I think
just on the game?
Darkstalkers 3 also came out on that first.
Okay.
The first Tomb Raider was initially designed for Saturn, but the PlayStation was the one that gained popularity. I'm looking at a list of what they call their 20 best Sega Saturn games. And I did have a Saturn, so I remember a bunch of these, but is it strong enough? I don't okay, Panzer Dragoon, which I think they're already doing a reboot of that.
Yep.
Virtua Fighter 2, which is going to probably feel very outdated. Nights into Dreams, Sega Rally Championship, which might be fun. It's kind of like Daytona USA, except for kind of rally cars.
Mm-hmm.
The Daytona USA arcade game. I never played Shining Force. Did you guys play Shining Force?
No.
I
games?
did. And Shining Force was all right, but it was way long ago, so I don't really remember much about it.
Yeah. Daytona USA, Duke Nukem 3D, which I don't know if anybody considers Duke Nukem relevant much anymore. Castlevania Symphony of the Night is on there.
That would be really good.
Ooh, that's a good game.
But I think that's other than Tomb Raider. That's other than that, there's not, in terms of their top games, you'd expect to hear stuff that had a little bit more oomph to it.
Sega Worldwide Soccer.
You can JSharpie all day.
Exactly my point.
Quake.
I don't know.
Really? Quake was on Saturn?
Yeah, but the question though is would you want to play the original Quake when you can play any number of very likely better versions of Quake on other platforms?
Actually, I'll even one up that. Why play the original Quake on the Sega Saturn Mini when you can play Quake with ray tracing RTX for free on Steam?
Exactly.
This is the other part of do you have a PC to play it on? But I'm saying that's why I said even I'm sure there's other versions of the game on whatever platform you have that you can play that are going to be better than whatever that is. I don't know. It's the same thing with Virtua Fighter. It's there's going to be, I'm sure there's nostalgia to it. So I think if it's a Sega Saturn Mini, that's going to be the epitome of what I was talking about before when I said a long time ago that a lot of these new mini consoles just end up being like the new age board games, where it's like every once in a while you're just like, oh, look, we got this little classic mini console when a bunch of friends come over and you want to play that for like 2 hours and then it goes back in the closet somewhere.
That's true.
I think this would be the epitome of that because there's just like nothing to play on it, really.
I totally forgot about this. Lunar's The Silver Star Story was also on Saturn too, although I got it on PlayStation.
I don't know that game at all.
Like,
RPG?
it was like the very
JRPG?
first game that I played that actually had like anime cutscenes in like, you
Is
know.
it a JRPG?
Yeah, it's a JRPG.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and then like it actually had voice acting. Yeah, and it was literally like cartoons or anime like scenes.
All right, so how about this? In terms of like speculation, considering like it could be Segata or like it could be Virtua Fighter or whatever, it could be, meaning it could be anything essentially at this point. It's apparently they didn't do a good enough job, like, well, not good enough, but they didn't give us enough info to really kind of have an idea of what it is specifically. What do you think you guys would like to see in terms of a new Sega announcement?
You know what? I could not even begin on that one.
I can't pinpoint that right now.
Yeah, I can't do it either. The reason why is because like if it's Virtual Fighter, I feel like it's going to have the same like, you know, fate as Dead or Alive.
I was thinking the exact same thing.
Exactly. Yeah. That's exactly what I was asking in the beginning. Like, when I said in the beginning, I'm like, I don't know what a new age Virtual Fighter looks like. Like, how do you make that game distinct from everything else? Which is a big part of like Dead or Alive's problem. It's like there's nothing really to draw you in to say like, oh, this should be the game you play, other than kind of outdated. I don't know. Maybe I don't know if the mechanics are outdated. It's pretty button mashy, but Virtual Fighter, I don't know. I don't know how you can make a new age one.
Unless they can make it as good as like, you know, Tekken.
Oh, you know what would be badass? What if it was as good as Tekken, but it was as blocky as Virtua Fighter 3?
Wow. That would be
it just
really
kept
good,
the same
actually.
look.
That would
That'd be hilarious.
really, really good. Especially like with how like, I mean, you can't equate this to like Fight of Animals, but like Fight of Animals kind of plays good depending on like what characters you pick. And I'll actually like, I'll do it with a different game. Them's Fightin' Herds. It turns out that like that one was a very solid mechanically fighting game, like really, really solid. Yeah. So
yeah, I remember I was following it like when I was in the My Little Pony fandom.
Forgot about that.
I never thought I'd hear that out of your mouth.
Yeah, no. Well, the show's really good. My friend told me about it and I was like saying, really? And then like I actually watched it and I was like saying, holy shit, this is actually pretty good.
Right. But like I watched the first season and I thought it was pretty good, but I didn't get that hard into it.
Well, it's more like the music was really, really good.
Okay. All right.
Like
LadyInfamous, did you know you were like on a podcast with a bunch of bronies?
Yes. Yes. I did.
You already do?
Yeah.
She already knew what it was.
Yeah. I already knew what it was.
No, but yeah, I see. Yeah, it'd be an interesting idea to have like just instead of trying to like literally match up to what everybody else is doing, come with a really solid fighting system, and then like I don't know, do whatever you want to, I guess, with the graphics, even if it was like make it look like Virtua Fighter 3 or something. But just looking at that photo, like the one that I sent in the Discord,
yeah,
which I know is a snap from that video, it's just like I have a feeling if they do it, they're gonna try to make it super realistic. It's probably gonna be like another Dead or Alive, I imagine.
Yeah.
Unless it's just a badass fighting system we just don't know is coming.
Or it's like a more realistic version of Tekken.
Dude, I was going to say, what if they managed to make it like hyper realistic? Like it looked like real people. That would be amazing. Yeah. Like somebody actually broke that barrier and like to the point where you almost couldn't distinguish between that and reality. That'd be badass. I don't know. Lots of possibilities. The 25th it was? So like 3 days?
Yep.
Okay. Probably going to I might try to stream that too if they're actually doing something live.
And then very quick, speaking of throwbacks like Virtua Fighter, Blade Runner Enhanced Edition And also Fahrenheit, or also called Indigo Prophecy, are getting physical releases. And it was actually in the news a couple weeks ago, that Blade Runner was getting not HDified, but like an enhanced edition, sort of point and click. That's what the type of game is. But
so I was gonna say I've never heard of, like, I mean, obviously I've heard of Blade Runner, but was the original Blade Runner game like popular or something?
I'm not.
Yeah, and the point and click
sure.
adventure games.
Yeah.
I don't really know how popular it was, but like, I mean, the fact that it's the guys that did the remake, I don't know if it's a remake of System Shock 2 or like HDified it, whatever the fuck, that brought it back. They're doing Blade Runner Enhanced Edition. So
okay.
I think it's a good time to do that too, since we're getting a lot of our cyberpunk dystopian shit this year as well. So and also I never played Fahrenheit Indigo Prophecy.
Oh,
everybody says that's a great game though.
For that.
Yeah, I actually bought it on Steam and haven't played it yet, but yeah, everybody says it's an amazing game. The main question I would have though is like, because of how old it is and because of like when it came out, how do the controls hold up? Like, cause it's like tank controls, like Resident Evil, right?
No, well, kind of. I don't remember the controls, but like, you know, if you played any of David Cage's games, which I'm pretty sure we all did.
But remember, like, what was the one with the origami killer?
Heavy Rain.
Heavy Rain. That still had the Resident Evil tank controls in it. Like where you like basically
because you have to hold R1 or R2 for that to actually walk, right?
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah. And then like when you wanted to turn around, you had to like turn your entire character around versus like just pressing the other direction and they'd turn around or something like that.
Yeah,
I remember something like that.
The thing about what do you call it, Indigo Prophecy is that there's a bunch of urgency because a lot of it is timed.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Like,
isn't
like
that and that's one of the ones with the sanity meter too, right?
Was it that one? Meter? No. So like if you remember from like, you know, his other games, right? Like there's like, you know, it looks like it shows clips from multiple scenes from different characters in different parts of the, like, you know, like the town or different parts of like the store and stuff like that. Yeah. And then like, you know, the NPC when they're in NPC mode, like they're like walking across the hallway about to enter this door, and you have to be able to like do all your tasks before that even happens.
Okay.
So is that a good mechanic?
I mean,
for you?
Well, it's more like you get the feeling of urgency.
That's
like
what so I'm asking, like, in terms of your gameplay experience on it, do you think that was a good thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
The only thing that I have a problem with that game is
that is David Cage.
No. No. The only problem I have with that game is that there's like these QTE events that it shows up in the middle of the screen on what you have to do, like kind of transparent, but you don't get to see what's happening on the screen because you're so focused on like trying to like, you know, press these buttons.
Oh.
So it's like better watching experience than playing experience for that portion.
Gotcha. Did you play it, Lady Infamous?
Played what?
Indigo Prophecy?
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's really good. I mean, there's like well, I don't know if the Steam version is like, you know, safe for work, but there is.
Oh, I doubt it.
Yeah, in one of the versions, there's like actual nudity because like there's a scene where like one of the characters is having sex with his girlfriend, and but there's actually like QTE events for that.
Was it like 1995, like sex in a game or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you actually play a QTE event.
I'm gonna go ahead and guess that the fractured butthole might have them beat in terms of like sex scenes.
No, the first one, the Stick of Truth,
or was it Stick of Truth?
The one with with my parents. Oh my god! And I was
there. You go.
Yeah,
that's what I was thinking of. I think they might have Indigo Prophecy beat.
Oh yeah.
You're talking about when your dad fucked your mom?
Yeah.
That's the fractured butthole.
No, Stick of Truth.
No, that was Stick of Truth because I remember the balls dropping on like
on my face.
and you have to dodge
so
that.
Yeah.
I might be just like forgetting it. So there probably was just like a graphic sex scene in both of them.
Then we're talking about like two.
Yeah, because the dad fucked your mom thing was definitely. I remember that was like the recurring backstory for your character of why you had powers is because your dad fucked your mom or whatever.
Yeah.
So I know that was from that game. There must have been a sex scene in both. So, but yeah, I'm guessing just the graphic nature of that might beat Indigo Prophecy in terms of probably like blocky, could barely tell what parts are what kind of thing.
Oh no, but then the action though, I think Indigo Prophecy.
You do the action, okay?
Yeah, because you literally play the action of the sex scene, depending on which version of Indigo Prophecy that you get.
QTE's to bang your girlfriend.
Exactly. That's exactly what it was. I was like, oh my God. I was laughing my ass off while playing. I was like saying, oh my God, I can't believe I'm playing this part.
Well, maybe that's worth trying to play this week since I own it. I
highly recommend it. It's a really, really good story-based game.
Yeah. Yeah, I might try it this week.
Yeah, and it's not like one of those open world games either. It is a straightforward story game.
Yeah. I've actually seen like one of my friends play like a little bit of it. I just didn't pay a ton of attention to it. So I don't know that much about it, but just heard it was good. I don't feel like I've heard any bad things about it specifically.
Yeah, you're going to be like saying, whoa, what is happening? Oh my God, that is crazy. Like that you're going to get that though.
Yeah. So just to answer my own question though, I would probably say I would think in terms of if I got anything from Sega, I would actually want to see like Daytona USA in like whatever kind of a new age arcadey format. Because I think like that one's definitely one that I had like a ton of fun with, but it also has always been, well, for the most part, it's been arcades. So I don't know.
I mean, that's what Sega is mainly known for is arcades, at least in Japan. Because there's Sega arcade centers. That's like 8 floors.
Oh yeah, I went to one in Japan.
I went to one in Australia. That shit was awesome.
They have one in Australia, really?
This was like 1999.
Like when arcades were actually a thing.
Yeah. Again, like 1999. I don't know what the fuck happened to it. So whatever. Yeah.
But I'd be interested. I don't know if it would just translate to like basically Burnout. Maybe Burnout is kind of like the new age Daytona USA.
Yeah, and we're not seeing one of those anytime soon.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm still looking forward to it though. So this 25th event, is it supposed to literally just be like we're announcing something on the 25th, or is it supposed to be like an event or something like that, or is it just kind of like we'll probably all of a sudden see a trailer for something?
So I clicked on the link to see about like what it is. And let's see. I actually don't know. 60th.sega and don't know. I think it's just
that means it's probably just like a video that gets dropped on the 25th then.
Yeah, an announcement trailer. That's probably what it'll be.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
All right.
I mean, other than did you hear what the Twitch numbers yesterday?
Mm-mm.
Did either one of y'all stream or
no?
Stream?
Like how? Well,
I'm talking about because of. I know what you mean. You're talking about because it's like the most number.
Yeah, I said it.
People that
early,
was on
I
Twitch.
said like a little tidbit in the beginning where it was like the highest number of Twitch viewership in the history.
Well, that's why I was asking if any of you guys had streamed yesterday.
I did.
I did.
You did? Did you see any? Did you guys see any like larger numbers than you're used to?
Yep.
No.
You did?
No.
Nice. Like how much do you think there was? I heard you say no, Zeldrick. How much do you think kind of your viewership was up?
It was up by 40%.
Like 40? Oh wow. Okay.
I get an email and it tells me.
Oh yeah. Got you. That email from Streamlabs or whatever that says like Yeah,
gotcha. You know what? The other top 50 like most viewed days were just on weekends because it makes sense because all the esports happens on or the majors happen on the weekends.
I mean, I assume it would be on weekends, just in general. But I guess this weekend makes sense because everybody's like stuck at home essentially.
Mm-hmm.
I will
Is
say
this like
that,
the first weekend? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Is this kind of like the first weekend that like everybody's sort of more on lockdown than they were
Yeah.
in
Yes.
recent
Well,
times?
actually,
Okay, yeah, so that makes sense.
No, for me, it would be this week will be my first week on lockdown.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, you know what? Now that I think about it, I have some friends who like they had kids who. No, they said their first day off of school was not this past Monday, but like the Monday before. So I don't know. Interesting. I wonder if that means the trend will continue.
Yeah, probably. I mean, we'll have to wait till next Saturday.
Yeah. You think it's a Saturday thing?
I mean, that's when everybody's the most free.
Well, I mean, yeah, I guess so. Well, if parents are working from home, I guess isn't Sunday basically kind of the same thing? Maybe people just think of Sunday as like a day of relaxing or something.
A day
That
of
could
rest.
be it too.
A day of rest.
Yeah. Just like hanging out with family and like cooking dinner and stuff like that versus like
Well, not
Saturday,
only that,
which is, like,
some
fun.
people have like this feeling like, oh, they have to get ready for work the next day.
I do, but not this day. Not
I was
today.
gonna say not today for me.
Yeah,
I'm
no, but
chilling.
you know what I mean. Like people,
Yeah, I know what you mean.
just preparing
Mondays,
themselves for
you know Monday is coming on
Yeah.
Sunday. Yeah.
But Saturday, it's just like, oh well. I mean, yesterday was kind of a free day, and then
Yeah, and I got
the
one more
next
day still.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. What was what you didn't say the actual numbers. What numbers did you see
Oh,
I don't remember.
for Twitch?
me.
I just remember like hearing about it multiple times. So I was like, oh, really? And then like I had to like look it up, but I'll look this up. But in the meantime, we can just look for.
I only had
can
like
talk about
7
something else.
viewers. I peaked at 7, which is more than I had last time, and I only had like 15 unique chatters, which is 7%.
Was that Animal Crossing?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I know that my viewership is going to be like not as much because it's going to be like oversaturated with people that want to stream because everybody's
And people that want to play like literally the newest game out, which is the one
Yeah.
you were playing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like if you really want to stream, it's like it's okay. I'm a little more laid back now because I'm like I'm gonna just stream what I want to stream, and whoever shows up, and if they don't, they don't. But as long as I can be able to stream something, I'll be satisfied.
Yeah.
Okay, so the past 7-day average, the number of channels went up 25%. Number of streams went up 25%, and number of
that I'm not
hours,
surprised by.
Yeah, and number of hours streamed went up 27%.
Okay.
Jesus.
I
Yeah,
might
this
have
is the
added a
last
significant
7
amount to that.
Yeah.
The number of times I streamed, it was like I streamed at least twice a day, like all last week. So I get it. Wish I had seen a little bit of those numbers that they talking about, but Twitch be stingy with the viewerships.
They know they is.
Us little guys, us little guys don't get no spotlights on the homepage or nothing. So.
Mm-mm.
Okay. Anything else we have before we talk about this whole Xbox PlayStation thing?
Not me.
I make tacos.
Oh yeah.
So what game is that? I made tacos.
Taco Simulator 2020. Let's go.
One of the best
Fuck
games
yeah.
ever.
Yeah.
I'm 100% in.
All right. Let's talk about these Game Stack. Did you guys watch that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I know at least, I don't know if Sharpie watched it, but Zeldrick and I watched it together.
I watched it later. I kind of fell asleep, and then I woke up and I was like, oh shoot.
So
I thought you meant during it. Go ahead.
I want to ask LadyInfamous, what was your take on GameStack Live with the specific day of them talking about Xbox Series X and the xCloud being the next chapter of gaming? Like that specific portion.
For me, personally, I cannot wait because as an Xbox consumer who is in desperate need of an upgrade, I needed to hear that information. I'm not really too into, I don't know about the cloud. I guess I'm not ready yet. Excuse me. xCloud. I still haven't got my email to actually do the xCloud program yet. I'm gonna try again this week. But as far as my hardware is, I had my Xbox for like 5 years. So, and as much as I love this OG Xbox, I need something new. And I thought for me, it taught me more about the processing power, how those games are going to look. And I'm excited of what they're bringing. Because I can skip the X and just go to the Series X, you know? I love the documentary. I'm sorry. Can you continue? Go ahead.
Sorry. I also I wanted to point out the exact way that they handled that entire like segment of talking about it.
I felt like they said a whole lot of nothing, like for 2 hours, or very, very little, like not enough for 2 hours. Was it 2 hours?
It was not 2 hours.
It was like an hour. Yeah. Like I was like saying, this is not an hour worth of information for me.
Specifically what I was mentioning was like the talk of when the guy is sitting at the table with the Xbox, like the brick, and then with the server blade off to the side, and he's talking to 4 other people on like voice call, talking about like old war stories of like, yeah, this is what we're thinking about, like community, and here's like these struggles and these hurdles that we went with, like A, B, and C, and it's just like, what about this console that you guys have showing off right here? That was more of like what I wanted to point at.
Yeah, you know what else was weird? They're saying, oh yeah, when there's a problem, it is our responsibility to like do to fix these problems. Like saying, isn't that what you're supposed to be doing anyways?
We literally said that during the stream.
We said that exact same thing. My specific words were, "Wow, no shit, fucker! Like this is your problem. You fix it."
Yeah.
This is like not downplaying of like what you were talking about, Lady.
No. Like, I'm not tripping or nothing. You guys have your opinions. I respect that. You know what I mean?
However, like whatever, like the specs and stuff of the Xbox Series X, yes, that's very important to go through. I actually think that throughout that entire 1 hour, the most interesting part was them talking about the xCloud and the Azure servers and stuff like that, because like, and I guess this is more something for you to think about, LadyInfamous, and just how powerful this is in relation to like the Google Stadia, and like how you guys had called it beforehand that this is just pretty much a prototype to like move to the step forward of what cloud gaming is. Mm-hmm. And that's exactly what xCloud is doing. Like they are the next step of what it's supposed to be for cloud gaming. I don't know if you caught it, but it was how they specifically were or they didn't specifically say it, but they were phrasing around that what they wanted was you pick up your game wherever you want, and then you put it down, and then maybe like 15 minutes later, you pick it back up again with like your phone or something like that, play for like a little bit, and then put it away. But it's your Xbox game, not a phone game. I don't know if you caught that or not. Like, do you remember hearing about that?
I didn't watch all of it. I'm gonna be honest with you, my guy.
Okay. No worries. But like that was a big part of it. And I was actually talking to T here that is exactly what they're doing right when it comes to xCloud, because what makes phone games so successful, or I guess what makes really, really good phone games successful, is that you can pick it up, play for like 5 or 10 minutes, feel like you did some progress, put it away for like 30 minutes, an hour, whatever, and then pick it back up and play like another 15 minutes of it while you're waiting or whatever. And that's exactly what the xCloud, what they want to do for the xCloud. Not to mention for like everybody that's playing overseas, playing out in like bumfuck nowhere, being able to have like a console style type of game, but as long as they have an internet connection, they can play Forza or Halo or anything like that. Like that was their point. And I think that was a really, really cool thing to talk about. And it was very interesting. So I hope you get that xCloud beta soon.
The only thing is though, that, you know, the thing that brings up though, that I'm interested in hearing what you guys have to say about is like when we talked about before, when we were, when I mentioned kind of what I thought about the Stadia. And I think LadyInfamous wasn't a fan of Stadia or thought that it wasn't going anywhere. And like, we were kind of talking about like sort of the ups and downs of it. This same concept that you're talking about, I'm kind of curious what you think about it, LadyInfamous, specifically because like that's essentially trying to accomplish the same thing that the Stadia is trying to accomplish just for the Xbox. So the idea that like we're basically wherever you are, theoretically, if you have an internet connection, you can play a console like experience.
To me, the Stadia and the xCloud are two same services. I just think that the approach from each company is different. With Microsoft, they've been talking about cloud for like a year, maybe a year and a half before it actually got like serious with the marketing and everything. As versus with Stadia, it wants to compete. Like, we want to put a name on it. For me personally, I don't think there's enough people in the Stadia team to propel the streaming service on mobile status as Microsoft is potentially trying to do. I don't know why, because
I don't know why either. Like Stadia,
Google got more money than Microsoft. I know that for a fact.
No, but Microsoft has been around for a lot longer, and they've been having Azure for a lot longer than Google Cloud.
There's also something to bring up with like the fight. I guess we'll call it a fight between the Google Stadia and xCloud. Is one thing being Google. They picked up a few devs or companies and be like, hey, we want your game on the Google Stadia exclusively. And they ask, okay, so what's the benefit for us? And they're like, nothing. Well, it's just exposure.
Yeah, at this point, there's not really much of a benefit to it, to be perfectly honest. Yeah.
They don't pay them extra. That was actually reported. And the bigger thing actually being that the xCloud has like 100 times, if not 200 times more games than on the Google Stadia.
Of course.
Like, yeah. So that's like a big reason why xCloud is going to be just swathed with people playing on it, is because they can play whatever the fuck they want on xCloud.
Yeah. And okay, so there's two things that, or there's one thing that I think both Microsoft and Google is able to do is because they're using their own services, or their own servers, I should say. And, you know, Google, Azure, and AWS are like the three biggest server platforms, right? So what Microsoft and Google is doing is like they have the ability to be able to have everything just run off of their system. And, you know, if there's some like multiplayer games, there will be virtually no delay other than your controls and possibly your like what appears on your screen, right? But when it comes to actual latency of what's actually happening between the games, like that, like, you know, it's going to be just server side. What I think, though, is that Google has YouTube, and YouTube is what is you know, they hired like 3 times as many employees in their YouTube space. And what I feel like they're going to do is, you know, when they were talking about like the whole YouTube implementation with Stadia, they're gonna like, you know, be able to just jump into a game from YouTube, and that's what Stadia's strong point is going to be in the future.
This is true. That is.
Sorry, I missed that last part. What are you saying? The last like maybe 10 seconds what you're talking
basically
about.
Like because people are going to be able to just jump into a game from YouTube.
Oh, from YouTube. Yeah, got you.
But Microsoft doesn't really have anything like that other than Mixer, which is this, you know, like they only share 3% of the live streaming space. Well, YouTube's live streaming takes up 27%.
Wait, and then there's the rest Twitch?
Yeah, Yeah, no, and Twitch is like 70%, and then the third biggest one is Facebook.
Ones. Oh yeah, gotcha. Sorry, what were we saying, Zeldrick?
Well, I was gonna mention, or just like to move the conversation along, that the other thing that came out with, I don't know if it came out during the 2 days of GameStack Live. However, but it was that the release date of the Xbox Series X, and it is on Thanksgiving. The day of Thanksgiving, it'll be released.
The day of Thanksgiving, not the day after?
Nope. It is the tweet right here by Major Nelson. An Xbox product page in some regions inaccurately listed the launch date for... oh, well, shit. That's the update to this. It actually just updated. It said it as Thanksgiving 2020. We are committed to launching holiday 2020. So
that'd be a weird release date. I don't know why you would release on Thanksgiving.
It's wild because like I saw like the news, like it's on Thanksgiving, and also like it was promo pages that were exactly Xbox saying on Thanksgiving, and it's like, okay. And then there was just an update now that said that no, it's still launching holiday 2020, which is very less specific.
That sounds about right with based on what they usually would do. They just say holiday.
Would you put it past them to put it on Black Friday? Is released on Black Friday?
The question is, what would be the benefit of that?
A shit zillion people going out to get an Xbox Series X.
But that would only be if there were Black Friday deals. You think they're going to give a deal on the day of release of a console?
No, it's not that they would get a deal on the Xbox Series X. They would get the Series X. However, that TV that's right over there, that's on sale. So two birds with one stone.
Yeah. So what do you think it'd be, like a deal with the retail stores or something?
Probably a deal with the retail store.
Okay, yeah, I could see that. Totally.
But more like people are already out for Black Friday. So it's like, hey, I'm going to get this Xbox as well.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I guess I could see that, except for I would assume everybody would be in the mindset of let me find something cheap. Like, I don't feel like I see very many people buy things full price on Black Friday. I don't know. And I'm also not in everybody's pocketbook, so I have no idea. But yeah.
Well, to me, based on like how America's Black Friday is like, based off all the videos I've seen, it's like saying, oh, if it's on the shelf, I'm getting it. I don't care what it is. That's what it seems like to me.
Yeah, but that also was like, maybe you guys have a different experience than me. Like, actually, definitely maybe LadyInfamous, because you're like more in a big city than I am. Berkeley's not that big. We don't really have many places to shop. But
Berkeley's is the suburbs.
It's definitely not the suburbs, but it's not a city by any like stretch of the imagination.
I'm
what I was gonna say is like, I
don't go shopping on Black Friday online, Cyber Monday.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Like, in terms of what you see on Black Friday, do you feel like you see the mass of people out trying to find deals anymore? Like the last time I went to Walmart on Black Friday, it was chill. There was like no people weren't like lined up like when it opened. They just kind of like casually were walking in like on Friday versus like Thursday night late. Like,
wait,
I don't know,
where
is it
were
any
you?
different?
On Black Friday?
It was where the heck did I go? I was in actually Reno.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. Because I was like saying, where's a Walmart around here?
I know. I was working Black Friday and it was payday and it was free check day. Like, free check means that I paid all my bills for that month. So that check that I got that Friday was for me. So did I go do some shopping? No, because I went to the mall. Bam. I went to the mall.
Well, that's the question, though. So when you went, even if you didn't buy anything, did it seem like there was a ton of people there?
Yes, it was.
Really?
Yes. I went to the Vans store, got a pair of Vans. I got a Vans fanny pack. And then I went to Victoria's Secret, and that shit was a madhouse, a fucking madhouse.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. So I had got a couple items from there, and I was out of there in like maybe an hour.
Did you just like walk in and see like a cloud with hands like poking out of it and panties flying everywhere?
It was like 100 women, ladies, young ladies, little girls, and there's like 3 different sections. So it was it was like pink. Pink is like the sportswears and pajamas, and then you got the bra and panties, and you got like the hair, like body washes and shit like that. So it was. I knew going in on the mall on the Black Friday, I was like, you're gonna just get this and this and this, and you're gonna leave. And that's exactly what I did. I told myself after I left the mall, I will never do it again. I'll wait till Saturday. Yeah.
Yes, and I was thinking maybe if you're like in a bigger city with like more people, then maybe maybe the Black Fridays are a little bit crazier. But I don't know. I guess maybe in that sense, if it is like that, then maybe it is a valid strategy to kind of release on Black Friday or Thanksgiving or something. I cannot
imagine what New York would be like. Because it's so
really dense. I think it all depends on how much do you put on sale. Because for some reason I feel like I hear that I've heard that Victoria's Secret has like really good Black Friday sales. Like I've heard Bath and Body Works has really good ones. It might just be the stores that you go to.
They had a good sale at Victoria's Secret.
I'm sure if you go to like Marc Jacob in like Times Square, you're not getting no money off. Or something like that.
Westfield Mall, they was like,
Westfield Mall is different. Yeah.
Oh my God, I usually like shop Victoria's Secret like twice a year, and when the sale hits, that's when I go. I don't be going on no ordinary day. So,
yeah. So, continuing on real quick though. So neither one of them has said anything other than holiday 2020 at this point then?
Correct.
Oh, I don't know about PS5. Holiday 2020. There was a thing floating in the air that it was supposed to be Thanksgiving. I doubt it.
For PlayStation 2?
No, Xbox. There was but they debunked that. They debunked that. So
there was an update by Major Nelson. He said it's not Thanksgiving. It's holiday 2020 still.
I'm going to tell you the date right now. Give me a minute.
Well, okay. For PlayStation?
No, Xbox.
So
the date? Okay.
There is also like a specs breakdown of what each console is going to be. And from personally, I did like the PlayStation conference just because of how techy it was. It really poked all the circuits that I'm running on to know like this does this, and we're because of before on this, we're growing and doing this differently, and we're adding this and all these other things. It was very dry. However, like this is the type of information that I do like to listen and
you know what channel will be good for you?
Digital Foundry?
No. Gamers Nexus.
Oh, I watch them sometimes. So yeah, I'm aware of them. So from the breakdown side by side, there are some. It does actually kind of paint the picture that the Xbox has the leg up with a lot of things when it comes to the differences of these parts. One thing specifically that I am a little bit. It's kind of weird that this is specified, but I guess that you have to. Under first party games. For the PlayStation 5, the I/O throughput, and as specifically, it's I'm assuming is the transfer speed on the motherboard throughout while it's processing all this. First party games is different from third party, where first party games get more priority than third party games. And then on the Xbox Series X, it just has 2 numbers and doesn't differentiate between like if it's first party or third party. But those 2 numbers are third party, which is kind of weird. But otherwise, like you can look at this all you want and say that like, oh, hey, the Xbox is like, it's got to be a lot better than shit like that. But you don't know until you actually turn on the operating system and see if it actually works well. Because you could name like it has these 12 teraflops or it has like this much memory bandwidth or whatever the fuck. But if that operating system does not run well, and is not optimized, then your system's fucked.
Yeah, I mean, you can be as fast as you want it to be, but if the operating system sucks or they're very inefficient.
That's what happened with the Xbox One X in the early stages and the PlayStation 4. The PlayStation 4 I still have trouble with the UI and stuff. It's still slow for me. But everybody's fix of like, oh, you just do this or do that. And it's like, I've tried that. It doesn't work. It's always been slow for me. And I think it's the other thing being that how much space of your hard drive is being used also dictates how fast the UI loads, which is dumb. But my only experience with the Xbox One, or not the One X, the Xbox One, is that the UI was horrid and it lagged like a motherfucker. So, both of them just didn't paint a good picture for me. So that's why I actually mentioned if the operating system is not optimized, then your specs don't mean shit.
Yeah. The Xbox One definitely had problems. And, through updates as time went on, like it seemed like they optimized it quite a bit more, even while adding like new features and stuff like that. So it did get to a point where it's not like terrible, but it's still slow to this day, at least on my like Xbox One. Like, you turn on the Xbox and like you see the splash screen and then you see like the home screen come up, but then it takes like 15, 20 seconds before like pictures load in and like menu options show up and something like that. So,
Really?
Yeah.
When I open up the Xbox app on my PC, it shows up in like 2 seconds.
Shut the fuck up.
Thank you.
You knew that was coming.
Thank you.
There's a couple things that I want to point out, and I think you guys will agree that this is stuff to really hone in on when it comes all to these spec stuff in these talks of third party or first party of who actually talked about this. The three of us, JSharpie and Unsheathed Productions and I, when we watched the PlayStation 1, the biggest thing that we thought was interesting was the 3D audio. On this spec sheet, it just says 3D audio. However, they went into the science of 3D audio and exactly like what they're talking about when they're talking about that, and when they mention it, because just by saying that, people, I would assume, would think, and I myself, just by hearing 3D audio at first is like, but what about 7.1 like headphones? Isn't that like the same thing? And it's not. It's
holophonics.
It's actually, holophonics. Exactly. And
I had to explain it to them what it was, and I showed them this virtual haircut audio.
That was such a trip. That virtual haircut was such a fucking trip. But the PlayStation conference had said, or the way that he was explaining it was like in Dead Space, where like you could know in which direction, like I guess cardinal, where something or where a noise was coming from. But if you close your eyes, and I guess for everybody else out there, search on YouTube virtual barbershop. So that way you can know further what this 3D audio is being talked about. You would actually be able to tell in a space around you where exactly a sound is is coming from and which point it's coming from, and also
how far away it is.
Exactly. Not only that, but using ray tracing like we've all been hearing about with graphics cards and stuff like that, but using ray tracing audio so that sound actually bounces off walls. So say that you have that necromorph that's down the hall and to the right, but it's a split in that hallway. And if you hear that, then it's actually going to use like echo, I guess, for bats. Like if you think of it that way, and sound waves, echolocation, like you may be able to point it that way, but it's going to be a little bit muddy because of how much hallway or how much surface the sound, exactly, acoustics, it has to bounce off of. But say that like, I guess for PvP, if like you notice that there is like somebody doing footsteps in a very specific up and to the back behind you direction, you'd be able to know where the fuck they were. So I think that was pretty cool. And the Xbox Series X actually goes through I mean, or they name off a bunch of these features when it comes to refresh rates and variable rate shading, but that's what the holophonics is, specifically the 3D audio.
But what I'm really interested to know about this is the fact that they've been talking, like they can talk about all this, all they want about this, but then like most console gaming that I know of, that most of my friends that only play on console, they don't use headphones.
This is true, actually. That's a very good point to bring up. So I wonder, like, do they just, or I guess to get the 3D audio, you probably have to connect your system to a stereo system, like that's set up.
No,
it
doesn't work like that. You have to get a very specific system, audio set up for that. And it's still super expensive to get that. You can't just get a 7.1 system and expect it to work.
Huh. Okay. Yeah, that must be difficult for them to figure out. What if they just release their own set of headphones?
I mean, like holophonics would just work with any headphones. It's just the technology of the audio. Oh,
well, you mentioned like 7.1 audio, and
I'm talking about like speakers.
If you want an actual like speaker system, yeah.
Gotcha.
Not specifically headphones.
So then maybe they'll like it. If you don't have headphones, or if you want better headphones, like they might release a different version of like their PlayStation headphones or whatever that costs like $80-$100 because they'll upcharge it to fucking whatever.
Of course.
So and they I made a joke during that, and it was like you came in for a PlayStation 5 announcement and you left with a physics degree. That was exactly the Sony conference.
Yeah. I mean, what stood out to me the most is like the audience.
Yeah.
I was like, are they real? I can't tell.
Yeah. That was weird.
People were super still. I was like saying, didn't even scratch your face. So I was like,
you know why? They're not supposed to touch their face.
Yeah, but who can consciously do
I'm
that
just joking.
all the time?
I know.
So,
I actually had that happen to me yesterday. I was like, literally just touched something. I was like, instinctively touched my face. So yeah, but they were like uncommonly still there. You could definitely see movements, but like something in the way that they were like, if they were superimposed on there or something like that, something in the way they did it just made it look like not real whatsoever. It looked like real people that were not in the room with him.
Right.
You know what I think? They pre-recorded this thing because that guy did not take a sip of water.
Of course it was pre-recorded.
Well,
I mean,
I don't think
it was like pre-recorded and it was cut together because that guy just talked super straightforward.
I mean, he also was reading. He was very clearly reading. Like he wasn't looking. He was looking off to the side, which is like clearly where his teleprompter was. So he might have just did a spectacular job of reading. But yeah, it was. I don't know. I was more on the dry side than I know Zeldrick was on the like interesting / technical, and I was just like, I was definitely on the side of like I was hoping for a different type of event than what they were doing.
With both events, they didn't show enough games for me.
They didn't show any games for both of them.
I know.
I was gonna say,
this was supposed to be a GDC, right?
More than one. Yeah. So that was the thing that like this was literally what they were supposed to present at GDC, the Sony one.
Yeah, I just don't understand like why they have to go 20 minutes about SSDs at the Sony one. That was kind of weird for me. Like it's as if people don't know what that is already.
I guess so, but like the other thing is that like the
way how he explained it, like about 5 minutes of that time was like saying, oh yeah, SSDs are like this compared to a hard drive. I'm like, I'm pretty sure a lot of people at GDC would know that particular information. Like I understand
everybody
like the more like nitty gritty stuff like that like I get, but like just the overall like the overview of what an SSD is, I was like, does that need to be explained? Like really?
Well, if you're talking to like people,
to a bunch of developers.
No. But you don't know if it's just developers that are going to be there, though. That's the thing.
It's
That's
not
what I'm
just
saying. I think they probably
developers.
just tried to make it to some degree palatable for like whoever they're presenting to. It could be somebody super technical or somebody that really just needs to know that it's going to be SSD based and that like those are going to be faster than hard drives. There's probably like when they do these presentations, I'm sure like there's a range of both of those sides of the spectrum in the audience.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I don't know if this has anything to do with it, but like with they were saying that with the SSDs and having the developers make games that have more optimization for solid state drive, like I don't think that really has to be it, or that is a big thing. Like I'm not that far into computer science, but I feel like that because if we have games already on PC that you can just run it off the solid state drive and you load into the area in 2 seconds versus 10 seconds on a computer with the difference between the two, I don't really know like if that's a big point to make, or if that is a point to make at all.
On that for like 3 minutes.
Yeah,
that was kind of weird to me. I was like, it's like, is he just filling time right there?
Yeah, like you'd think that it's like a fake thing, but I don't really know. So like this is just me not knowing like what goes into that sort of thing. So yeah, abnormally weird to like go into solid state drives, but also you have a lot of people that just pick up a console and just play it and they're like, oh yeah, solid state drives, this will make it faster. And then that's all they'll get from it. So
I guess one thing though that they did kind of slide in there that I didn't know, but I'm finding out from like another article, because I guess I definitely like tuned out for a little bit, like when they were doing all the technical speak. But I guess they did mention at some point that the PS5 is going to actually have an expansion bay for like, I guess for an off the shelf like M.2 NVMe SSD like for expansion.
Yeah. Does it have to be proprietary? Did I hear that right?
No, it's not. The Microsoft is proprietary.
I don't get
so Microsoft has one that's like proprietary, and I guess it's because like I think they said like maybe the read and write speed has to be like a certain level. Like it has to be fast enough, have a fast enough read and write speed. So they have like a proprietary drive that you can use to like store games to play, but then you can use like other storage solutions to just store games on that have to be transferred to like that
like
SSD
a cache server.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, but I guess you'd have to transfer the game to that one the 1 terabyte SSD that it comes with, the proprietary one, in order to play them off of that.
Yeah, so it works kind of like, oh yeah, so you don't have to like re-download the game, just have it pre-downloaded onto that hard drive and just move it over when you want to play it.
Exactly. Yeah. But apparently, like PlayStation's though, the PlayStation 5, like they're gonna have an expansion bay as well. But like theirs is it's like it's not proprietary, but I guess Sony's gonna certify certain SSDs to say that they will work with the PS5.
Okay.
So you got to find like certified ones.
The other thing is that they both mentioned was the backwards compatibility. Xbox had already mentioned about backwards compatibility a long time ago.
The best answer they could have possibly given. I love that. Just like, we'll play everything.
Exactly. Yeah. And they literally should have just said that, we'll play everything. And there was also video footage, I believe, I think Digital Foundry did it. I forget who did it, but like they showed off an original Xbox game, Fusion Frenzy, being played on the Xbox Series X and with HDR. So that was a kind of a trip to see, but like
that's cool. I never saw that.
With the PlayStation 5, it was mentioned on the video that it was almost 100 PlayStation 4 most played titles and like the most hours played on like PlayStation 4 like games or whatever, which kind of bad to say because it's like, well, what about these other games that I like And those didn't really sell well, and we don't have that many hours recorded server side of like these games having enough attention. So no, you can go fuck yourself.
You know what I think that says? That's like interesting. Like I don't know. You guys tell me if you agree. It almost feels like if Microsoft is just saying like, yeah, every game that we've created for Xbox One, like 360, everything will work on our console. Almost, it feels like they developed a system that just kind of like works for everything that they've ever done. Sony, if they say just like the most of the 100 top games for PlayStation 4, it sounds almost like what they've done in the past, where it's like, yeah, we're still kind of trying to figure out how to like use emulation or something like that. It's not that we have a system that just kind of is compatible with everything we've done. It's like we still have to like go through and make sure all these individual games work. Which I don't know. That's like, it kind of, if I'm right about Microsoft and there's just like, they just figured out a way to make everything they've done compatible. That to me seems like a better way to do it. Cause then that would, to me, sounds like whenever the PlayStation 6 comes out, they're going to have the same thing where they're like, oh, well, we got most of the games on PS5 working. And then we'll start working on PS4 and 3 after that or whatever.
You know what I think? I think this is like the move to try to get people to use their cloud services, because
like
you know how many games
Now?
PlayStation Now has right now?
What's that?
No.
About 700.
Any of them PS4?
PS4, PS3, PS2.
Oh, I thought it was just like PS3 and before. Oh, no PS1?
I don't think so.
I don't even think I would want to play PS1 games. I don't care.
Yeah, and you can play it on PS4 and PC.
Wait,
with
what?
an Xbox
PlayStation
controller
Now?
if you want to, too, if you're playing it on PC.
PlayStation Now?
Yeah.
You can play it on PC?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that. Okay.
So there was some light that was brought to that statement of like top 100 games for the PS4 with like playtime or whatever. Actually, that's not really true. I don't know. So I don't know what the deal was with saying something like that, because what was actually brought out to light with this is Sony says, we believe the overwhelming majority of the 4,000 plus PlayStation 4 titles will be playable on PS5. As expected, there's no mention of any generation before PlayStation 4. So it's like, why the fuck would you like say like the top 100 PlayStation 4 titles, but then be like, oh no, it's actually like for a huge library for PlayStation 4. Like it's
the only thing I could think of is like they might say that specifically. Maybe they went through and like they'll have done like a bunch of testing for those, however many titles out of the top 100 to make sure that things seem to be working like super smoothly. And then the rest of them, they're like, yeah, we're kind of assuming it'll work and we'll fix it as it goes along. You know what I mean? It's almost like make sure Call of Duty works, but don't worry about like, I don't know, Uncharted Nathan Drake collection quite yet.
So,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. And that's actually, you're right on the money on that one, because they said that they have already tested hundreds of titles and that it's going to test thousands of more leading up to the launch.
Yeah.
So the PlayStation 5 aims to run PlayStation 4 at a boosted frequency, which allows for better frame rate stability and possible higher resolutions. It doesn't just automatically work, though. Sony needs to individually test every single game to make sure it's compatible. Some game code just can't handle the boosted frequency.
Okay, so theoretically, the games work. It's the boost that they don't know if it's going to necessarily work right out the gate.
Right. So,
yeah. Okay, got you.
I want to say like this kind of equates when you are playing a PC game and say that like I don't know if Okami would be a good example because it's not really frame rate. Okami HD on PC is locked at 30 frames per second.
Oh, but if you double it doubles the speed of the game?
No, if there's actually no way to double the frame rate speed or like bring it to 60 and mod it without the game crashing or breaking, because it checks on the 30 frames per second. When it's in the menu, when you pause a game and you're in the menu, that's 60. But with the game's playing, it's to run at 30, because when you change the frame rate at all, the entire physics and everything just fucks up. The entire thing fucks up. And I think that's what happened with me. And no, so that's what happened with me and Dead Space 2, because the game is natively at 30 frames and I was running it and streaming it at 60 frames. Well, streaming it, fuck that. Because I was running it at 60 frames, there were bodies that were fucking warping and twisting all over the place, and they would just fly around. So like the physics was fucking up. And I believe that might be what this is talking about. Not in the same exact 1-to-1, but like the fact that running it at a better frame rate or with boosted sort of frequencies and better hardware, if you try to boost it or make it a bigger resolution, the game breaks. And I'm pretty sure that's what they're talking about. So that's why they're like, we got to test all of these games to see if it actually works.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. Like all these, those independent emulator guys, they also have like a list of their own emulators too for all these games that work or doesn't work, where there's issues. There's like notes on for each game on where the issue lies.
Yeah. There's no like one emulator that just out of the box universally just supports every single game you can find.
Exactly.
Yeah. That kind of makes sense.
Which is also kind of funny to bring up because it's like, the backwards compatibility is supposed to or what they are trying to achieve is that these PlayStation 4 titles will run at a boosted rate so you can increase the resolution and or increase the frame rate speed or whatever the fuck. But why not just keep even if you're playing on PlayStation 5, just lock the frame rate down, lock the resolution down. Like, I get everybody has like 4K TVs and shit like that, but like, why not just like lock it? I don't know. That's just me. So I don't know if that like causes more hardware usage for just locking it down at a specific rate when all of your hardware components are. I don't know. Like I'm talking nonsense at this point. But anyways, hopefully they get a much larger library or almost all of the library of the PlayStation 4, because that would be really cool. And this also means that I no longer have a use for a PlayStation 4 and I can just bump it up to a PlayStation 5 now. I'm glad that they're bringing backwards compatibility.
I've been waiting for that, like the kind of one console fits all in terms of like all the games that I've owned from that.
Or company. You can get a PlayStation Now and then just wait.
Yeah, but that's a subscription.
Wait, so PlayStation Now, is it streaming or is it just download?
I think most games are just streaming, and some of them you might have to download a few things.
Okay, gotcha.
And I'm sorry, we ran on this a long time after LadyInfamous was going to find the date. But were you able to find a specific date?
No, I was just guessing. Oh, okay. December 15th, 2020.
Oh, okay.
That sounds reasonable.
That is very reasonable.
Yeah,
actually.
Out before Christmas. So
that week.
I feel like it might even be a little bit earlier than that. Just give people a week to buy it for Christmas.
Yeah.
But that does still sound reasonable, though.
All right.
Where'd you get that number from? Last question, out of curiosity. That was your guess, or like just from looking at the calendar, or like is that kind of rumor mill type stuff, or what?
Educated guess.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
If it's not that day,
start closing this out.
If it's not that day, it's this week. It's that week. It's that week. Okay.
Anyways, let's try closing this out because we are a little over too. But anyways,
I will start by saying that you can check me out at twitch.tv/unsheathedp. In terms of what I'm gonna play this week, I'm kind of convincing myself as I'm sitting here thinking to kind of go and try Indigo Prophecy, but I'm still gonna continue on with like just finding remote play games to play. I'll probably see if I can finish Kane and Lynch with LadyInfamous, and I do want to play a little bit more of like Elementals, for example. Like I want to play that a little bit with Zeldrick, maybe some more Towerfall, but again, stuff centered around kind of like party play and remote play on Steam. So Just check me out, twitch.tv/unsheathedp. I'll be on kind of whenever it feels right. So,
All right. And this week, I will be finishing up Sekiro. After Sekiro, I don't know what I'm moving on to, except that like I do need to finish Final Fantasy VII, and just steamroll through the rest of that story. I'm at the last part of it. And then Fridays, Dungeons and Dragons with a newbie group, 5 p.m. Pacific. You can catch me on Twitter and on Twitch at Zeldrick, Zeldrick.
This is me, Lady Infamous 415. You already know. Thank you guys for listening to us tonight. I will probably be streaming some games that I haven't played in a while. And you can check me out at Lady_Infamous 415. And I got nothing but time on my hands, so you'll see me online.
And I'm JSharpie. You can find me at twitch.tv/JSharpie. But I've also been uploading some things on YouTube's. I have 4 different YouTube channels. 2 of them is what's being uploaded on like my main channel, and like this just all my stuff that's being ported from my stream to this one other channel called JSharpie Live. So there's that.
What do you usually have on JSharpie Live?
It's like almost an uncut version of my stream.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah. Like, because like I said earlier that I want to have 2 places to have my archives. So that's what that's what that channel is for. Gotcha. And it's also have it in, cut in about 1 hour segments, like where it makes sense to cut in within the, like a 10-minute delta. Okay, other than that, I don't really have a plan on what to stream if I do or even play. If I do end up playing something, because I still have this list that I'm looking at right now to play. Actually, I should open up my PlayStation again, because I remembered that I need to play Gravity Rush 2.
Number 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I think you played the original Gravity Rush on stream, right?
No. I didn't play it on stream because I played it on the Vita.
I thought I remember seeing. Okay, maybe not.
Yeah, no. So I might do that. I'm not exactly sure.
Gotcha.
All right. Anyways, that is it for this week. We will all see you guys next week.
All right.
Thank you for listening to the podcast. Please, 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 please like, favorite, subscribe, whatever platform you're listening to on. It only takes 2 seconds, maybe not even 2 seconds to do so, especially if you're